You just have to click the mic icon, Stephen, bottom left-hand corner, and that's how it unmutes you. Are you there, Stephen? I thought I just saw you. Maybe now you're gone. Okay, I don't know. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Can you
Okay.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
do
my name is Steven.
repeat your question so everybody can hear it.
Okay, my name is Steven. I'm a digital photographer from Nigeria,
Mm-hmm.
and I do a bit of digital storytelling where we have pictures from Africa,
Mm-hmm.
life and lifestyle of Africa, especially the masquerade and some very interesting places in Africa that I think it's a sellable product.
Mm-hmm.
How do one? I've never sold any product before, but I have wonderful pictures that can be sold. Wonderful pictures that can be sold.
Yep.
How can one sell these products, these pictures?
Yep. It's a great question. And you're having like bandwidth issues, Stephen, where you're going to go in and out. So I'm gonna mute you in the meantime, just so I don't pick up the feedback. But the long and the short of it is, especially early on when you're just getting started, is you have to find out whether or not the work will sell. Right? You love the work and you think it's great and you think it'll sell, but it doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what anyone else tells you. The only thing that matters is that you take the product to market and you see whether or not it can sell. And a lot of people in today's day and age, what they end up doing is they contemplate all of these things that are going to keep themselves busy. You know, I've got to build a website, or I've got to upload the work to a marketplace, or I've got to go knock on the door and try to sell in galleries. And all of that is a waste of time in my estimation. The fastest way to know whether or not the work will sell is to get a booth at either a local show or a fair or a brewery or a festival or anywhere. There's a whole bunch of different places you can do it. There's a whole bunch of different places. He said he lives in Baltimore or Maryland. There's a whole bunch of different places in Maryland you can do it. You have to get prints of the work, okay? They do not need to be huge prints. They can be small ones. You can spend a couple $100 on prints. $150 would do it. They can be small ones on acrylic or metal or canvas or wood. You can do that at a local print shop, and then you get into the booth, which can be no more than a table, and you show the photographs off. And you need to determine that there is a market for the work. And you honestly will never know until you try. And the fastest way to do it, you don't have to get any websites, you don't have to open any bank accounts, you have to do anything. All you have to do is go and show it off in an in-person fair show. Now, during COVID, that was really, really hard to do, right? During the pandemic, it was. And so one of the ways that we recommended that you could go about doing it in COVID times is if you have a decent social media following, you could grab the camera and run a live art show, which is a lot of which that I showed in the video. But that's the fastest way to do it, and you can't let anything get in the way of you doing it. You have to find out whether or not the work will sell, and you'll never know until somebody takes the credit card and or the cash out of their wallet and says, Stephen, these photos are awesome. Here you go. I'm gonna unmute you again, Stephen, and let's see if you can come back on and if you have any follow-up questions. You just need to click the mic icon again. I don't know if Stephen's gone or if he's still there or what. Well, if you unmute Stephen, you can come in and certainly ask a follow-up question. But who else, guys? Questions? Where you are in your art business, what you might be struggling with, what you're contemplating are next steps, questions about running sales, about anything that we do. It is all open, all on the table. I just need one other brave person to kick us off, and then it's go time. CC Harrison was asking me, how do you build a collector's list if you're new? Early on, it's fake it until you make it, right? Ultimately, what everyone wants is a collector list of people that have purchased their art. Well, how do you get there if no one's purchased your art? Early on, it's just your email list. Whoever's on your email list gets special treatment, right? And it's really, really easy to do that. Hey, guys, just want to let you know I'm having a big sale starting Wednesday, or I'm releasing a new series on Wednesday. And because you guys are loyal email subscribers and you're on my email list, I'm going to give you guys exclusive first look access at the new collection or at the sale. And here's the link, right? The idea is that you're building a group of people, of followers. Yes, they're, ideally they're buyers, but if they're not buyers yet, you just treat everybody like that's on your email list like it is. And bit by bit you get there, and it takes time. And the whole point of the collector list being so important is, when you sell in a gallery or when you sell in a marketplace, you have no idea who's purchasing your work because they'll never tell you. And so you stand even less of a chance to potentially build a collector list. It makes it even harder to do. So that's sort of one of the interesting takeaways of how that works and how that goes. I've got a question from YouTube about magazine advertising. I love this question. And what do you recommend for magazine advertising? I don't. The long and the short is, SP, I don't. The only way you're going to be successful in advertising in a magazine, in my experience, is by getting multiple editions of the magazine. So if it's a quarterly, getting once a quarter. If it's a monthly, getting once a month for a prolonged period of time. And because magazines and advertising in magazines is usually a pretty legacy industry, I find that the dollars that you would potentially spend on doing so is better spent on ads on Facebook or Instagram. I think you'll see a higher ROI than you would attempting to advertise in a magazine. So that's normally how I answer that question. I don't know of any artists that are really seeing any level of success advertising in magazines. It's magazine advertising is just really a hard nut to crack. Now, if it's like a much smaller local area type of a magazine and it's only $250 to go into it, or $150, like commensurate with what Facebook ads would cost, then I would say, okay, it could potentially be worth a shot. But again, it's hard to see an ROI from one ad in a magazine, somebody calling you saying, hey, I want to buy all that stuff. It's not normally how it works. People need to see things again and again and again to get really, really switched on and to be in a position where they want to buy something from you. So I find that's how it normally works. And I would sooner approach Facebook and Instagram ads. Not boosting posts though, SP, not boosting posts, Facebook or Instagram ads. But it's a good question. What else, guys? Questions? You guys are a shy bunch for a Friday. Normally on Friday, it's like, yeah, I've got a question. Can literally be about anything. I've been doing this for a long time, and I got to look at all my customers' analytics. So I have a pretty good beat on what works as it pertains to just about everything in the art selling stack, art business growing paradigm or program, or however you'd like to say it. So if you guys do have questions, you just raise your hand. I'll see it. And again, it's the little reactions face down on the bottom of the Zoom window, and you just click that and it lets me know. Yeah, this is an interesting one from a Facebook user saying, I'm getting no sales even with sales considering lowering prices. That's a part of the journey too, right? Like, if and that was the advice that I gave to Stephen earlier. It's like, there's no shortcut, okay, for actually getting the work in front of eyeballs of strangers. Like the test that you need to pass early on when you're just getting started is, have you sold work to people not named mom, dad, brother, family, friends, right? Because those people, of course, will buy anything from you. They love you. They'd lay down an oncoming traffic for you. You have to sell to strangers, and you have to sell to strangers before you get to the larger market. Otherwise, you'll never know you have a product the market likes. What most artists and photographers do is they say, I'm going to create what I like to create, what creatively fulfills me. And that's all well and good, but that might sell and it might not sell. And if it doesn't sell, you're faced with the decision of, okay, it doesn't mean I'm a crappy artist. It just means whatever I'm creating currently is not something the market likes. And no one ever tells you guys this. Pablo Picasso, when he died, had 45,000 unsold works in his inventory. 45,000. Okay. How many times do you think that guy had some work, okay, that he created that he thought was awesome that didn't sell? And did he let him kill him? Did he let him kill him? What am I even saying? Did he let that stop him? No. Like, becoming a successful artist or photographer is a lot like the game of archery, okay, or the sport of archery. It comes down to how many arrows you fire. If you think whatever you've created and whatever you want to create and whatever everyone tells you is awesome is your one arrow and you're going to just hit the bullseye in the first time, that's not how it works. That's never how it works, right? You have to fire a bunch of different arrows to truly know what's going to work. And this happens at every level of career and every level of sales. There are some people that are hitting the target, but the business is not mapping to the revenue expectations that they have. And so you have to naturally try some different styles, some different focuses, and some different directions along the way to get better and better and better and arrive at a style that the market really, really does want, right? So that's a huge part of it. All right, Kevin, I see your question. I can answer that. I'm going to unmute you too. So Kevin says he does a bunch of different styles. He does photography, resin, painting. Any recommendation on what to focus on? There's a couple of different ways to answer this question, Kevin. And if you want to unmute, I can dig into it further with you. What's selling the best so far?
Photography.
Then I would stick to photography. You know, there's everyone thinks, and probably the conventional wisdom that you've heard is like, hey, Kevin, you got to pick a niche. If you don't pick a niche, you're never going to be successful, right? Like you have to narrow in on one style, or you'll never get there. And that advice is like really, really well intentioned, and it often comes from people that you know that are successful in other areas of life and business. It doesn't apply universally to the art industry. I have customers that do a little bit of everything, and they sell a little bit of everything, and their business is doing absolutely fantastic, okay? And it comes down to the fact that their followers, their fans, their email list, their collectors just like what they do creatively and like their creative eye and like their personality, and so that they buy whatever they create. I have other customers that have one style. They have one style, and they've gotten there, and that's all they sell, and that's all they do, and it sells fantastic. And then I've got just about everything in between. And so the most intelligent way to approach it, Kevin, is you have to market and get the work in front of a bunch of people. That takes time and that takes work, right? So you start marketing, you start putting all of the work out there, and then you reevaluate after a year, okay? And you look at the business after a year, and you see whether or not there's an 80-20. And the 80-20 in this case, an 80%, 20% is, in your case, let's say it's photography. Let's say the photography represents 20% of what you have on the website, what you're selling currently. You know, it's 2 out of 10 items, but it's bringing in 80% of the revenue to the business. At that point in time, I would say, okay, Kevin, I think the market is telling you have a niche. This is what you've got to do, but it might not. You might sell a little bit of everything, in which case keep creating, keep marketing, keep building the email list. You're on the right path. You're totally going fine. So that's the best way to approach it. And most artists and photographers, what they do is they phone in their marketing efforts and they phone in their sales efforts, and they don't approach it wholeheartedly. And they're like, well, you know, I'm just gonna have to keep working until I find a niche. So that's my advice there. But I'll unmute you again. Do you feel like that answers your question?
Yeah, that's great. That has been where I have focused.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess beyond that market, I understand what you're saying. I think to maybe just introduce the other styles and
100%.
see if they start getting legs.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, 100%. And don't like, you know, let's say you have a website and you're going to throw it up on a website. Don't be scared to throw it all up on a website. It doesn't matter. You can take that stuff down at any point in time. No one's ever even going to know it's up there, right? You're essentially just doing your version, Picasso's version of firing the arrows, right? You're going to try out different styles and different looks, and you're going to see what potentially would resonate and what could potentially do great, right? And that's absolutely how you should do it. It's absolutely how you should do it. And there's literally no one-size-fits-all recipe result roadmap that just works for everyone. It just doesn't. Some people, like I said, are going to sell a little bit of everything. Some people are going to just sell one style and everything in between. And I love watching that play out again and again and again, because there's no one roadmap for every art business. There's so many differences and intricacies and nuances to all of them. And that really gives you the freedom to do it your way. You can absolutely do it your way and not have to worry about it. So that's super exciting. All right, CC, you've had some questions. I'm going to try and unmute you, CC. And let's see if I get to the bottom. So CC's a watercolor artist, and she says, you need help with the presentation of your artwork. What do you mean by that specifically, CC? When you're unmuted, you should be able to go. Uh-oh. I'm not hearing you, CC, and you're unmuted, which tells me I think you're having an issue. You're having an issue with the microphone, so you probably have to throw your question in the chat. But yeah, if you're a I think what you're saying is like, what do you do if you're a watercolor artist, and how do you display it, and then how do you get it reproduced? Probably equally important. Obviously, if you're going to be doing it on a watercolor, you're going to have to get it stretched. If it's on canvas or if it's on paper, you should get it framed and be able to show those off. But you do want to get the work photographed too. Or how do you display it? Yeah, holding it up in your hand is fine. Totally fine. I mean, you saw the live art show examples. That's all you have to do. It's just easy, right? All day long you can do that. All right, Linda, I'm going to grab you next. And Linda says she's, let's see if I can get you working, Linda. Zoom's having all kinds of issues today. And Linda, if you just hit the microphone icon I don't know if you're on your phone or if you're on a computer. And this is Linda Bonds, not Linda Massey. 4 years, around 500 pieces. So you sold 500 pieces, Linda. That's a lot. You don't have a buyer's list because I didn't really think of doing this to make money. Tight right now. Is there a way to connect with those from the past and hone in on the now and the future? Sadly, if you did not keep Linda, information on who those folks are, you don't have any ability to market to them in the future. But I wouldn't worry about being 69. We have people that signed up in the last week that are in their 80s. That are still going at it. It's one of the most amazing things about what you guys do is you have the whole rest of your life, which in most cases is like multiple decades, to keep working on it and keep grinding on it, and keep making it happen, right? Which is just a fantastic thing about your guys' niche is like, I'm a marketing guy. Do I enjoy my marketing? Yeah, I do. But when I retire, am I going to do any marketing? No, I am not. I'm hopefully going to be retired and end up on a beach. But with you guys, you keep creating. You can't shut it off. It's how you're wired. It's how you were made. Whether you believe in the Almighty or otherwise, it's like you have been created to create, and you're going to be doing that for the rest of your life. So what a fantastic thing to start working on and give yourself purpose and a really, really good hobby to have for the rest of your life. It's the best part of it, I think. Okay, Erica's asking questions. I'll unmute you, Erica. You're asking questions about doing business with us. What is our financial money? How do you make money with our artwork? Yeah, so we're not, Erica, we're not a marketplace where you just upload your stuff, right? With us, you get a website, you own the website, and then we teach you how to market it all year long, and what to do. And we're sort of like, easiest way to describe what we do is we're partially a website solution, and then the other part of what we do is, we're a postgraduate university that just teaches art and business marketing, art and photography, business and marketing. And it just goes on and on and on and on, because the technology just changes so damn fast. It's crazy the world that we live in. There's never been a better time, to be an artist, because you can sell direct, you can keep the information on who's purchasing your work. You can create it out of your home, out of your studio, and you can truly sell it internationally. And that's not been the case in years previous, right? You pretty much had to go through the gallery system or do the show and thayer circuit, and those are the opportunities that were available to you, and that's changed. But it does mean you need to work on your marketing. And if I asked everyone to turn their cameras on right now and all raise their hands, how many of you guys want to work on your marketing versus how many of you want to just create and have someone do all the rest of it? Every one of your hands would go up. Every single solitary person in this entire Zoom. And I know because I've talked, I see your hand up, because that's the way that it works. That's the way that it works. Like, the thing that you want to do the least is the highest leverage, right? Like, how that thing gets on our to-do list, and it's not the thing that we want to do. It's the thing that we want to do the least. And so we do all that other nonsense on our to-do list and never get to the most important thing. That's what marketing is for artists and photographers. Trust me, I know. I talk to hundreds of you guys in a week. I know. So that's what I would say. That's what I would say. And, you have to start doing it, right? You have to start doing it. Yeah, and CC Harrison says the funniest thing to me: no marketing. I'm an author, and I don't even want to market my books. That's the publisher's job. You'd be surprised how similar books are with artwork, right? They're the exact same. It's the exact same exploitative model. The publishing houses claim they do all this marketing for you. Anyone that's ever written a book will tell you that publishing houses, and it doesn't matter what size they are, do very, very little. And that window of time they do very, very little is the month to 2 to 3 months after your book launches. Then they don't care. They're on to the next, and they've moved on. It doesn't matter if you're an author or if you're an artist. You have to do the marketing. It is the only thing that's going to grow the business. Once you can start doing that, and it's why we exist, by the way. It's what we teach all year long. Once you start doing that, then the business actually starts growing. And is it a pain in the ass, pardon my French, early on? Yes, it is. But there is no other way that I'm aware of where you can make it as an artist or a photographer if you're not going to be the one doing the marketing. And by the way, CC, all the most successful authors are doing their own marketing. They're booking themselves on their own podcasting circuits. They're appearing on other people's YouTube channels. They're still doing book signings. The same is true for the most successful artists. They're out there putting themselves out there marketing all day long. They're doing in-person shows. They're having gallery shows where applicable. And all of it, okay, is how you grow the business. It's just how it works. And no one ever talks about this. No one ever tells anyone the truth about this. And it infuriates me. And I've been doing this for 7 years now, and we have a little bit over 6,500 customers. And it's like, not only do I know all these people because we're constantly teaching workshops inside, kind of like what we're doing now, but also I look at all of their data. I know who are the most successful. And the gallery model works for almost none. It works for almost no people whatsoever. Meaning, the easiest way that I can think about it is like, do you know anybody from your high school that became a professional athlete? All the people in your high school are artists. The professional athlete is the one person that is actually making money in the gallery model and supporting themselves. That is how low the odds are. That low, right? Crazy low. So, which is super interesting. But Linda, I appreciate the comments, and Beth, I hope you're feeling better, and you can come anytime you like. Thank you for the kind comments. And Regina, sorry the email got messed up, or you're probably Lloyd. You're in Laguna Niguel. I'm in Newport Beach. I'm only like 2 towns above you. So I know your time zone. There will be a replay though, Lloyd, so you can send it to your wife after the fact. Easy enough to do that. I've got some questions on the stream. Get my fat head out of here. So why do I like Facebook, Instagram advertising so much? If you're a fisherman, okay, and I'm a fisherman, our job is to get down to the docks in the morning, jump on our boat, and drive the boat to where the fish are. Right now, as it stands in 2022, the best fish, the fish that we are after, i.e. art buyers, are primarily on Instagram and secondarily on Facebook. So we drive the boat to where the fish are. In addition to that, Facebook and Instagram, as a result of their combined data set, has the most in-depth targeting ability of any of the platforms right now. So it is the easiest, most effective way, pretty much in the history of mankind, to be able to advertise to the people that like your art and grow a following there. That's why I like it. I don't necessarily love it for any other reason. I'm just extremely contrarian. I mean, I don't post a single solitary thing on my social media profiles. I'm a social media expert. I don't post anything on my social media profiles because I hate it. That's neither here nor there. Jesus is Lord. You can order Prince POD. There's a bunch of different places. I mean, obviously, if you sign up with us, we'll do it. But otherwise, you can. I mean, you don't even need to worry about it so much. Just get the order, Jesus is Lord. Send it to the print house. Have the print house ship it for you. If you're prepared to sign up with us, obviously you don't have to worry about any of that nonsense. But early on, unless you're getting a ton of orders, that should solve that problem for you. Makes it pretty easy to sort. So that's what I would say. But yeah, got to do the marketing. Gotta do the marketing. There's just no getting around that. I wish there was. I wish there was a shortcut. I wish there was an easier way. But there's a bunch of people on this call that have been doing this for a long time, and all of you guys have tried all of the other ways. And where has it gotten you? You wouldn't be on this call if it worked. It doesn't work. The only thing that works is building a direct business where you know who your customers are and consistently working on your marketing. It's no different than working out. Yes, it's a pain in the butt, but you have to do it, and you feel better as a result of it, right? It's the same analogy. I mean, that's just totally how it works. So that's what I would say. That's what I always say, actually. Doesn't mean it's easy. But again, that's why we exist. I mean, I have to teach my customers how to do this all year long. I have to hold them accountable. I have to combine bribery with intimidation and cajoling and just about everything else imaginable to get them to do it. And bit by bit by bit, they do. And bit by bit by bit, they learn and they get better. And the businesses actually start growing. And you would be surprised, the fuel that early success can put in your tank will start motivating you, inspiring you to actually work harder at it and harder at it and harder at it. Because it's just so insanely flattering when a product you've made sells and brings someone else joy. It's as good as it gets, right? But that's truly how it goes. Yeah, Erica's asking what's the cost of joining. So again, the way that we work is we're a website and we're a university. We charge a monthly fee like every website company does. In the university, you just pay a tuition fee one time to get in. The baseline plan start at $1,000, I think at $49 a month. And then there's a couple plans that are above that have a few more bells and whistles. But on all the plans, you get all the marketing. And, you know, if there's one takeaway to take from this whole presentation, like, if you guys don't fix it's the biggest hole in your boat, right? All of you guys have a giant hole in your boat. And what you've been doing for all the previous years is you've been running around fixing all the small holes in the boat. And you're like, hi, I'm so busy. I've been just plugging all these holes. Meanwhile, there's the giant gaping hole in the boat and it's taking on water and you're not fixing that one. Until you fix that one, the business is just not going to grow. It's not going to go where you need it to go. And once you realize that and you're like, okay, he's right, until I fix the one problem. And you don't have to take it as a sales pitch either. You don't have to work with us to work on the most important problem. But until you start doing something differently, the business is not going to go anywhere. Like, artists and photographers are notorious from just hopping, no different than plugging the small holes in the boat instead of the big holes. Let me go to this marketplace. I'm going to try that. Let me try this website. I'm going to try that. Let me try this other website. I'm going to try that. Then I'm going to go do something over here and try this. Nothing ever changed in the business. The business did not fundamentally grow, and the business did not fundamentally grow because you never worked on your marketing. If you don't solve the real problem, the business is never going to go where you want it to go. And it's why we exist, right? Like, we have a bunch of competitors. Do you know what all our competitors sell? Websites. Do you know what your biggest problem is? It's not a website. You don't have a website problem. You can't have a website problem until you fix the marketing problem, until you fix the attention problem. And I know it's a tough pill to swallow. It's like, yeah, easy for you to say, right? That's just the ball game. That's just the ball game. Yeah. Yeah. And VZ, I agree with you completely. His comment is, when it comes to Facebook, Instagram, especially Instagram, that's where most of the art buyers are. 100% true. Instagram is by far, not even close, the most important platform for artists. And again, it's not even close. And it shouldn't come as such a surprise, right? Like, it is a visual search engine. What do you guys all create? You guys all create a visual product, right? One of the things that I've been banging the drum on incessantly recently are Instagram Reels and how impactful they are as a product. And if you open up the Instagram and you go to your homepage, there's one on the screen right here. Reels are these 1 minute or less animated videos or photos, and it's sort of like TV. It's like completely changing the game. It's sort of like TV. In normal social media, the way that it works is, if I follow you, okay, I will see your posts. But if I don't follow you, unless somebody shares your post with me, I'm never going to see it. No one's ever going to see it. Okay. Well, recently, the game has changed. Instagram has copied TikTok, okay? And YouTube has copied Instagram and TikTok. And now they all have a product, doesn't matter whether you call it TikTok or whether you call it Reels or YouTube calls it Shorts, okay? And these things, you guys, have fundamentally changed the equation of social media, right? Back in the day, I would have to follow Sarah, and Sarah would have to follow me. And if so, she would see my post, I would see her post. That's how it started, right? Early on in Facebook and early on in Instagram. People remember this, where I used to follow Sarah. She followed me. I saw 100% of her posts. She saw 100% of my posts. Then, once those social networks got big enough that they didn't need us anymore, then only 10% of our followers or 5% of our followers saw our posts. So we had to work harder and harder, and we had to give Facebook and Instagram money in the form of ads to even get all of the people to follow us to see our posts. Well, the landscape has changed, okay? TikTok has come onto the scene and has started eating Instagram and Facebook's lunch, meaning a bunch of people are leaving those platforms for TikTok. Instagram doesn't like this. The way that Instagram has leveled the playing field, okay, and started fighting back is by copying TikTok's killer feature, which are these reels that I'm going through, okay? And why it fundamentally changes the way that social media works is Instagram needs this content so bad I can't even begin to tell you. They need more and more and more of it, and they need the best stuff that they can get. And the reason is that the more that they have, the more time people are spending on Instagram, the more money Instagram can charge for ads, okay? And what that means is, when you create one of these, so let's say Sarah there created one of these, I don't necessarily need to be following Sarah to see it, Okay. Instagram will show it to people that that do not follow Sarah and that have never had any interaction with Sarah at all. And at the top here, okay, at the top here, if you look at like the name, you know, Wanderer or whatever this person's name is, there's a follow button. So if I'm scrolling through here passively, and this is just TV, guys, this is just TV for the next generation, I can click follow on this person. Boom, this person looks interesting. I'm going to follow him. My little phone display thing would work. Boom, following, right? Do you see how quick and easy that was? And what people don't understand is that the way that it works algorithmically is like, let's say I search abstract art, for instance, okay? And this is on Instagram. I'm going to search abstract art. This now, if I click onto one of the reels, okay, puts me in the abstract art television channel. The way that it can be thought of is just a television channel. And any of you guys that do abstract art can now start creating reels on Instagram, and potentially be thrown into the abstract art channel. And this is just a television channel of abstract art. There's some little weird tags on this one for sure. But it ends up just being topic-specific television channels. And what happens is that some people go in search the way that I did. But more importantly, if I'm an Instagram user and I really like abstract art and I really like watching it, and I end up liking and commenting on a bunch of this stuff, they'll just show me more of it and more of it and more of it and more of it and more of it, because that's what it knows is going to keep me engaged on the platform. And so if you're an artist that's creating really, really good abstract art and you make a really, really good abstract art reel, and I am a collector that loves abstract art, and every time I get onto Instagram, I look at it, you can now get my attention without having to spend a dime just by creating a reel. It is one of the most fundamental and profound changes that's happened in social media since its inception. And it's all coming as a result of serious competition to the major entrenched and focused player that is Facebook and Instagram. And it's absolutely wild. And you know, the most interesting thing that's happened is these guys have realized, you heard me at the beginning of the presentation say something, and I said that attention is the currency of the land, okay? Everyone thinks it's dollars or technology or something else. None of that matters. If you have attention, you can do anything. That's why the Kardashians are so powerful, right? Well, Instagram has a ton of attention, okay? Facebook has a ton of attention. Yes, I know one company owns both of them. YouTube has a ton of attention. Now TikTok has a ton of attention. And once these platforms learn that, it's like, wait a minute, I have all the attention, which means I can do whatever the heck I want, okay? I can do whatever the heck I want. And so what happened is TikTok, and this is going to be loud for a second because it's going to play these things. Okay, I muted it. If I went through this quickly, okay, could any of you tell me which one's which?
What are you doing? Many of you.
So that was TikTok, okay? This is YouTube Shorts. Of course, something went wrong. Typical. Right when I'm doing my display. Come on, YouTube. Anyway, you would have seen the exact same thing there. And then now I go back to Instagram. All three of them have copied each other verbatim because it doesn't matter. They have the attention. It's like, oh, you have a cool feature? I'm going to copy it verbatim and steal it. So for artists and photographers, Instagram is the most powerful art selling platform that exists right now. It's not even close. Again, it's a visual search engine. And so when you start making reels, you have the ability to go next level in terms of how many followers you're getting. And we've got people that are blowing up their Instagram following like never before, just making reels and just doing it on a regular basis. And it's just so insanely powerful. It is such an effective way to grow a social media following. But again, you know, I go back to my university example, right? Like, how's anyone supposed to keep up with this and know any of this? It's why we exist. We learn about all of these things before anyone else, and we figure out the best way to leverage them for our artists, right? Like, you know, what we're doing right now, we have an in-house marketing agency, okay? And what the agency does is it helps out with various different marketing services, and you can pay to have various different things done at various different times and the like. And it's really, really important. And it's like, one of the things that we have that agency doing right now is helping our customers make reels. Helping our customers make reels because they are so insanely important. And like one of the things that we're doing for our customers is logo reveals, right? And so we're getting these things made for our customers where they can show a little animation on their reels and talk about their art. And so every time they finish a reel, they can just automatically include a call to action. call to action is just the text like, hey, visit the link in the bio, or follow me, or follow me for more great content, those types of things. And it's just the future. I thought that one came out so cool. It's just the future, full stop. And there's nothing like it. I've never seen the level of success since the live art shows, and really the live art shows are just as prominent and just as important. And it's just a big deal. Yep. And look at VC, made $7,000 in 2 days off that strategy, which is it's fantastic. It just works. It is an absolute game changer. But again, it all goes back to marketing. It all goes back to the thing that you guys want to do the least. And until you fix it and until you change it, the business is not going to go anywhere. And so you have to fix the main problem. You just have to fix the main problem. And it's not that hard. It's like anything else. It sucks at first, but then you just keep taking steps forward every single solitary day, and the business gets better and better and better. It grows more and more and more, and that's how you go. But no joke, this little format, and again, I showed it on TikTok, I tried to show it on YouTube, for the younger generations and the older generations that it's converting, they don't watch TV anymore. When they get home on the couch and they don't want to contemplate anything and they just want to zone out or wind down or have the glass of wine, do whatever they do, they come on and they just watch these things. 20%. Meta is what owns Facebook and Instagram. They changed their name to Meta. They just came out with their quarterly report. And in terms of Instagram, they're saying over 22% of Instagram use is now isolated to Reels. That's just going to keep going up and up and up. I'm sure very soon it'll be 50%, right? And Instagram is a social network within a social network. And so you have the feed, right? And if I go here, this is my feed, and a whole bunch of different stuff gets dumped into the feed. But you have some people that's what they do. They come onto Instagram and they get in the feed. Now, Reels can be included in the feed. So there's a lot of people that will come through here and click a reel, right? And then get into the Reels train. But that's the feed. In addition to the feed, you have these things up top, which are the stories, right? For some people, this is all they do when they come onto Instagram. They just look at stories and they don't look at anything else. And that's what they do. And that's the social network for them. Now, there's people that just go into the Reels tab and just watch Reels and they don't watch anything else. And that's the social network for them. Either way, you need to be doing storytelling, sharing your content, sharing your process, sharing what you do in all of them. And that's just a ball game. And it's not that difficult. You can absolutely do it. You can absolutely do it. The tools there are very easy for it to do. We teach you how to do it. You all have what it takes to create. All of it's done on this, which is just absolutely amazing. So it's just an incredible thing, incredible piece of technology. Represents an incredible, I think that one's actually an ad, which is why they want so many people watching it. Yeah. So I'm fired up about it. Like, look, every one of you guys could do that. Have some small pieces where you show your work off. Like, wow, I really like this work. I'm going to follow this person. And then the next thing you know, I watch 2 or 3 more of your reels. And then the next thing you know, I send you a DM, a direct message on Instagram, and I say, hey, I'm interested. Can I talk? And you're like, yeah, let's jump on a Zoom. Next thing you know, you sold some art. That is how it goes. That's how it works in the real world. If you do the marketing in the first place, right? Which most of you are like, I don't want to do the marketing. But who else, guys? Questions? Questions about any of that? Questions about anything so far? So a bunch of you guys still hanging around. I know someone in here's got a question. I feel like this is the least amount of questions I've had in a session in quite some time. Maybe I'm just intimidating today or something. I don't know. But that's okay. We can leave it there. One thing I would say as a final is we're having a big sale for Father's Day, and it ends at the end of the month, which is, I think there's one more week. So it is a great time to get a demo. If you attended this session and it got you thinking and you're like, these people know what they're talking about, I'm wondering what else they can do, the next step is a demo. And there's buttons in the chat. There'll be buttons in the email I send you after the fact. There'll be buttons all over the website, and you can fill out a little form, and someone from our outreach team will take you on a 1-hour Zoom tour of all the bells, all the whistles, everything that we do. Okay, all the ins and outs of everything that we do as a business art storefront, so you can decide for yourself between now and I guess Friday of next week. There's a great opportunity to save a ton of money, and one of the important things to contemplate about this business, guys, is you have to be running sales, and you have to learn how to run a sale. And most artists have no idea how to run a sale if they've ever run any at all. And everyone thinks fundamentally that like somehow because you're selling wall art, your business is any different than every single solitary other retail business out there. It's not. It's the exact same. Okay. It is the exact same. And to get attention, you have to be able to run sales. And so we have Father's Day sale coming up where you actually run the art as the artist. You run a sale for Father's Day. And then there's an Independence Day one. And then we run one for Amazon Prime Day, which is a huge art selling holiday. And you have the ability to get up, running, and ready before any of that goes down. So it's an exciting time. Magdalena is asking what I think about Instagram promotions. No. How about no? Bad idea. Bad idea. Make reels. Save all of that money, Magdalena, that you were gonna pay to those Instagram promoters. Go out, get yourself a nice pair of shoes, and make a bunch of reels, because you might as well light the money on fire if you think the Instagram promotions are going to work. They're not going to. VZFCUS is saying, how long should the funnel be for customers to purchase? It's different in every single solitary sale, but in almost all of them, it's way longer than you think it should be. Okay. It is way longer than you think you should be. And you know, it's everyone thinks that like, hey, I have 100 people following me on such and such. And out of those 100 people following me on such and such, all 100 of them have their arm up right now and ready to buy art. Nothing could be further than the truth. Not everybody needs wall art all the time. Some people need it now. Some people are going to need it a year from now. Some people are going to need it 10 years from now. You'll never know who those people are, and you'll never know when they have their hand up saying, I want to buy some art right now. So your job is to market consistently and keep these people engaged. And when they're ready to buy art, when they've moved out of their mother's basement into their first apartment, or when they've bought a vacation home, or when they've downsized or upsized or whatever, redoing a bathroom, you better be top of mind. And that's how it works in the real world. No one just all of a sudden says, I'm ready to buy art today. I'm going to go look on the internet and buy art today. If 100 art sales go down, one is of that varietal, if that. Most people research, and you know what they do? They find out about an artist, and then you know where they go? They go to Instagram, and they follow them on Instagram, and they say, does this person know what they're doing? Are they posting regularly? Are they interesting? Am I loving their other stuff? Okay. That influences them and their purchase decisions, and that's how it works in the real world. In VZFCUS, how do you steal your customers or your competitors' customers? Just regular and consistent marketing is the best way to do it. There's no magic hack out there that's going to allow you to steal your competitors' customers. But you can pay attention to what they're doing in marketing. You can follow some of the people that follow them, especially the people that ask buying questions. I mean, that's a really saucy way to do it, actually. I might as well show you. No one ever does this, but I'll show you. So he's asking specifically, so you guys can see this. I have to get my fat head out of the way. How do you steal your competitors' customers as far as art goes? Okay. So here's how I would say you do that. If you really wanted to spend the time to do this and you were going to do this, which you're probably not, because most people don't. And I'm not even sure it's the most authentic way to do it. This is Kelly Corbett. Okay. And she's a customer, insanely talented gal. What I would do if I wanted to steal her customers, because I know she's making reels, I would go into her reels. I would look at the comments. Looks sensational already, and I would follow that person. What you want to do is you want to look for the people that are commenting on the successful artist posts with, what a beautiful piece of work. This is amazing. This is incredible. And then you follow those folks on Instagram. And the idea is they see that they follow you and they're like, love your paintings. Boom. I would follow this person right away. I would take a look at him and investigate him and be like, Nature Sessions Color rocks. Okay, they're not an artist themselves. Boom, I'm going to follow, right? Because that's probably an art lover that loves what Kelly does. The reality is, though, is that that's not the highest leverage use of your time. It's just not. You could do it selectively, but it's not true. I would probably do it in some of my down margin time, but do exactly like I just showed you, VZ, which is get in there, look at the comments, on Reels or on posts, and if someone's like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome, number one, you have to determine if it's an actual real potential buyer, right? And if you go to someone's profile and they're just an artist, because that's what you guys do, all you artists follow all the other artists out there for reasons I don't fully understand, then the last thing that you want to do is go to another artist, because artists usually don't buy a whole lot of art from artists. So yeah. And if you're asking he's asking in a Facebook and Instagram ads context. In that context, you don't have to worry about it. The algorithm does it for you. It does it for you. You know, once you have your website set up correctly and you're feeding your purchase data back into Facebook, back into Instagram, what ends up happening is Facebook knows, because their algorithm is all amazing and powerful, Facebook knows who you should be targeting. It goes after them for you. But you really have to work your way up to that to get there, and it takes some time. So that's what I would say, guys. That's where I'm going to leave it. I've talked myself into circles. I'm running out of horsepower here. Appreciate you guys. Think you should get a demo. Think you need to fix the big hole in your boat. Until you do, don't delude yourself that whatever the hell you're working on is going to change anything, because it's not. Okay? It's just not. You know, I don't care if you ever sign up with us, but the biggest problem I've seen out there, period, is I'm so busy. I'll just start when I just got to get a few things figured out. I've got a ton of stuff on the plate. I'm having some little health issues. It doesn't matter what they are. It's all bullshit at the end of the day. It is all 100% bullshit. It all has been bullshit, and you have to admit that. You have to admit that to yourself. Until you start working on the only thing that matters, whatever you're working on is not going to change anything, you guys. It is not going to give you what you're looking for. It is not going to get you any closer to the outcome, okay? All I'm saying is I've been doing this for a long time. I know what the path is. I know the path is not easy, but I know all of you guys don't want to walk on the path for a whole myriad of different reasons. And you tell yourself, I'm making forward progress. I'm doing great. I'm kicking butt. I'm going to get there. No, you're not. Stop deluding yourself. Until you fix the marketing problem, okay? Until you start working on that, the business is not going to go anywhere. So you could tell yourself you're busy, but really, two roads diverged into a wood, guys. The road that you're on now that you want to stay on leads to Hobbyville. Your art business will be a hobby, and nothing is ever going to change that. You don't start until you start going down the marketing and working at the marketing consistently. You are not on a path to actually growing the business, and that's just the truth. And there's just no two ways about it. And so that's the tough part about it. But it's awesome once you start doing it. And you do get better day after day after day. And it is really, really fun to do as a grind. And you have the rest of your lives to be working on it. For you guys in your 60s, I don't care. You're going to be selling to your 80s. Some of you guys to your 90s. And it's a business that you can pass off at the very end if you get it humming. So it's an incredibly worthwhile endeavor to devote your time, energy, and effort towards achieving. An incredibly worthwhile goal to devote your time, energy, and effort to achieving. But you got to come to the hard truth that the only way you're going to get there is if you fix the marketing problem. All right, guys, we're going to leave it there. I appreciate all of you. Hope to see you either on the inside or on a future session, or follow us on Instagram and leave me a comment on a live broadcast. I'm going to send all of you guys the replay plus the links to all the things that we included. So if you want to check any and all of that out, you certainly can. And thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your days. Bye now.